On this week's episode of Marketing O'Clock,
we've got the long and the short form video on what's happening as we get closer to TikTok's D-Day.
Are you one of the webmasters out there salty about content with a manual action ranking AI over you?
And instead of learning the hard way, you can check out Google Ads' new learning phase estimates forecast.
All on today's show.
Welcome, you are listening to Marketing O'Clock. Just stay tuned. Digital marketing news, but let's get specific. Digital ads, SEO and analytics, social media and more. Pretty much everything that'll make your website perform. With new shows every Friday. We give you the news with sass and puns and definitely hot takes. Thank you for tuning in. You know what time it is. It's officially Marketing O'Clock. Settle in, sit back, keep it locked.
Hey there, I'm Christine Zernhoff.
AKA Shop.
I'm Jess Budd.
And I'm Greg Finn.
And it is officially Marketing O'Clock.
Here on January 17th, 2025. And before we get into the news this week, we want to thank AdsVisor for sponsoring today's show. AdsVisor is the connector tool that lets you talk to your marketing and sales data intuitively with unlimited account connections, unlimited queries, and full access to all three connectors. And that's GPT, Google Sheets, and Looker Studio, all with one single subscription for one price. It really seems too good to be true sometimes. So we have talked about their custom GPT feature a couple times. I love this tool for agencies because you can literally go in, you get all the power of AdsVisor where you can connect to Google Ads or whatever ad platform, ask it like how many clicks I got this week or whatever, but you can pair that with knowledge about your clients. You can give them like what a goal CPA is and ask if you are above or below goal or what campaigns were above or below goal, or just give them any information that's going to help with optimization. So the custom GPT tool is amazing. I feel like it's so powerful for agencies, and people who aren't taking advantage of it are really missing out. I also discovered this week they have prompt templates. Like the hardest part of ChatGPT should be so easy, and like we're literally so lazy, like we just can't write it out. They're doing the work for you, writing templates for everything.
Amazing.
There's one on here for the month-over-month report, how to make a PPC performance report, a budget tracker, and alert, and it's just the prompt that you copy and paste right into your new custom GPT, and it'll build the reports for you.
Incredible.
Goo is doing all the hard work for us over at AdsVisor. But don't just take our word for it. Like I said, you can get one subscription to rule them all. Your first 3 data sources are only $24.99 a month, and you can get more information at adsvisor.com. ADZVISER.com. Thank you, AdsVisor. And getting into the main news here, big Google Ads news this week. Thomas Assell discovered that Demand Gen got a new learning phase estimates forecast. I don't know if this is big news for everyone, but it is for me. The learning phase, like dreaded. Like imagine if this rolled out for everything, you'd be able to say to clients, like, okay, we're going to be in the learning phase for this many days, and this is the estimated conversions. This is the estimated days in the learning phase. All that information that we don't ever really know.
That is really
assuming it's right.
Yeah,
That's a big assumption. But I like
we're a little traumatized, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the stuff that Google gives you is helpful, but isn't super accurate. And in this case, they're saying here it's going to be under 2 days to the first conversion. It's like, you don't know that.
How can you know that? You're learning.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it'll be right. Maybe Google will put their money where their mouth
Yeah.
is.
I like the fact that you can put in the CPA and it appears that all these will adjust. That to me is like the biggest takeaway. Not necessarily you look at these numbers and are like, this is what's going to happen, but more so what your data inputs that you select, how they can impact some of the actual number of conversions that will happen in time to those.
Yeah. The learning phase is one like status that I actually am not annoyed with. Like how it will be like bid setting limited or whatever. But the learning phase is a good like pulse check for your clients to be like, okay, we got to give it a couple days. We just made the change. This is what Google says. You know, let's not touch it yet. Yeah, that's the one that doesn't bother me. That is helpful.
Yeah. And the days in learning phase, it's nice to be able, to your point, say, this is what Google estimates. And if we want to speed this up, let's move up our budget, or maybe we will raise our target CPA or something.
And again, only spotted for Demand Gen so far, apparently, but it would be really nice in shopping or other campaigns. So
Yes. And Thomas has a YouTube channel, so go subscribe over there if you want more Thomas.
All right, so this news is, I'm going to call it non-news because it's a lot of speculation and there's still some things happening, but we have to talk about it because it is a big week for TikTok. Unless you've been living under a rock, you're aware the TikTok ban is set to happen on Sunday unless the app is sold into U.S. ownership. That is if the law goes through. So TikTok had appealed the bill, was rejected, and the Supreme Court has been in the process of hearing a plea against that rejection. That's where we're at. It is 3:16 p.m. Oh, 3:17. Clock just changed. p.m. Eastern time on January 15th, 2025. And as of now, there is still no decision from the Supreme Court. Again, as of recording time.
Can I go Finstradamus on you?
Please.
They're going to have some kind of legalese or stipulation to kick this can down the road.
That is what people think because they released a lot of
I know.
other
I just
decisions.
freaking told you.
Well, I know, but you're not always right. You usually are, but you're not always. They released a lot of opinions on things, I guess, today, and this wasn't on their list, right? So the thinking is that they are going to say that they need more time to deliberate on this and kick it down the road. So it is very, very possible that there will be a delay or we'll get a decision before Sunday. I don't know. Greg thinks he does. So as of now, if TikTok didn't make their case, they either have to sell or go away. So it sounds like they might be working on a backup plan. What I'm about to say is all completely unconfirmed. But earlier this week, Bloomberg did report that according to people familiar with the matter, that Chinese officials are evaluating a potential option that involves Elon Musk acquiring U.S. ownership of the app. He and his reps have not commented.
What will he
TikTok
name
has
it?
outright
Why?
denied this. Yeah. WHY or just the letter?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
No, we don't need that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's what saves it. But again,
X is the everything app, though. Jess?
that
Yeah,
is
why
a
would
great
he need
point.
it?
Why would he do this? Why would he do this? I don't know. He's not commenting on it. And again, TikTok has outright denied that. They said to Variety that, quote, we can't be expected to comment on pure fiction. So again, this is all speculation, but that is the news as of now. That's what we have. That's what people are talking about. I think the big thing here is no decision, probably a delay, and who knows.
I think no matter what, it was worth it for the content we got. People being like me on Sunday when TikTok is gone. They're like running through the wilderness or whatever.
That's good. You know, people
It's
should
really
go
good
outside.
content. Yeah.
That's what I do when I'm not on social media. I'm outside all the time.
Yeah, there makes no sense for Elon to buy it. I actually like what he's done with video on X minus all the other nonsense going on over there. Like you can play video, you can play a podcast. If we put our show up on X, you can play it. You can turn your phone off. It'll still play on like YouTube. I actually find myself when I'm watching something live, I watch it on X because it's better than YouTube.
I'm sure to buy it, they wouldn't like allow this in the contract. But what if he bought it and just redirected it to X?
Well, it's also $100 to like $200 million. He doesn't have
more
that.
money. No? Okay.
I don't know. It's
I don't know
like
how
you
much
have to
money he
borrow to
has.
get X
Yeah.
or Twitter.
Good point. By the way, because there's a lot of buzz and downloads around the TikTok alternatives, there's Sao Hong Shu, aka Red Note, and Lemon 8. Those two apps would probably fall under the same regulations as TikTok if the bill passes, so they might be going away too. So again, play with them, have fun, but like everyone's like, this will save the day, and we're all just gonna move over here. Probably not.
Those Red Note and Lemon 8, that sounds unsavory to
Yeah,
me. I
they're
don't
like the
that.
top downloaded apps right now because
No
people
thanks.
are thinking they're going to be the TikTok alternatives, but they are
We'll
also
all be on
Chinese owned
Reels.
and will probably go away.
I also
Yeah.
like the fact that we're like, oh, we have to get rid of TikTok due to the fact of concerns with information being shared overseas. The option that we have is Sao Hong Shu.
That's what I'm saying. It'll fall to the same regulations. Yeah, but you think people are just like that dense?
It just seems like we're going to be in a recursive loop here at some point if we keep going this route.
Looping video.
And now for this week's
Cool tool.
As a reminder, our Cool Tool segment is not an official endorsement or paid mention. We're simply sharing something we found in our travels that may be of use to our listeners and is really, really cool.
This week's cool tool is a simulator so you can be less intimidated
Still
by
got
your
it.
next interview. It is the SEO interview simulator from SEOjobs.com. It's cool. It's an interactive tool to help you practice with mock interview questions. It can also score you, and there's a leaderboard if you need some extra competition to motivate you. You could choose between 2 interview types, general and specialized. The specializations include things like on-page, local, technical, product-led, and a whole lot more. So if you do have just a specialty and don't want questions outside of that, you can hone in. It's also got voice mode if you prefer to talk through your responses, practice your interview skills. Love that. And even if you're not on the job hunt, it could be a really great way to practice getting hard questions from clients or internal stakeholders. So I love it for that.
Yeah, and if you want a cheat sheet, there's actually just one answer to everything. And it depends.
Yeah. We should do the interview and just put that in and see how
what
we
it
score.
says.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, you're an SEO expert.
We are. Again, that is the SEO interview simulator. And as always, we will have the link in our newsletter as well as on Discord. So pick your poison and check it out.
Now it's time for this week's Take of the Week. This is a #fire digital marketing take with extra spice served up for you. We simply deliver the take for your consumption. We give no opinions. We don't influence. You make the call.
This week's Take of the Week comes from the one and only, the powerful Bram Vanderhalen over on LinkedIn. And Bram has what I would consider to be a spicy take. We live in a world of screenshots of accounts. That's all I see on X. Look at what I did to this account. Look at what I did to this account. Bram says that one marketer showing you a ROAS of 3 is probably doing a better job than the other marketer showing you a ROAS of 10. Here's why. It goes on to talk about attribution reports inflating results, about focusing on people that already know your brand, purchases coming from existing customers, sample size too small, the fact that people don't know how attribution works. I'd also add in branded, especially. I know he's mainly Facebook and there's less of that, but at least on the PPC side, you look at the stuff and you're like, how could anybody look at these simple charts that are shown in Google Ads and be wowed by it? Like, you could literally just add PMAX and it can literally just be all branded search, and you're not helping the business whatsoever, but the stats look better, and who cares? That's something that not enough agencies focus on, is the health of the company that you're working for, not just the metrics that you report on. So I love that take, and it is much appreciated. Thank you, Bram.
Now it's time for this week's Pew Pew Lightning Round. At this point in the show, we split up our content into 3 parts: paid, organic, and social.
All right. And before we get into our lightning round this week, I need to speak to you again about how phenomenal AdsVisor is as a sponsor and as a tool. AdsVisor, my favorite element about them is that they want you to do well. And you can really tell. I sound like I'm just Bud.
I was going to say
rhyming
cease and desist. Good
that's
job.
going on. But you have unlimited workspaces, unlimited queries, unlimited accounts per data source. You have those GPT integrations, the Google Sheets add-on in case you want to pull your data anywhere else, and those Looker Studio connectors. And to me, there is no better time. I feel like I'm a politician right now, sticking my thumb up and demanding that in 2025, new year, new you, new reports. And if you're somebody like we see out there on social that's like, time to do those monthly reports, no longer. AdsVisor can hook you up those 3 data sources, $24.99 a month. And if you're like, oh, well, I got a billion data sources. Okay, they don't gouge you. You can have 10 data sources and your monthly price is under $70 when you pay annually.
Wow.
$70, and you can get 10 different data sources. You can advertise on whatever platform you want. Goo and the AdsVisor team has you covered. You look at some of these other competitors and you think it's a good deal, but when you look at the limitations, that's where they get you. And I just need to say it again: unlimited connections, unrestricted queries, continuous refreshes. You're not billed every time that you pull a report. It's like if somebody is making a tool that could connect all your data, improve your insight into the data, and be somebody that's a sensible person from a pricing standpoint. It's like, how could you not love AdsVisor? So if you are looking to pick up your reporting game, no better time than right now. Head on over to AdsVisor. That is ADZVISER, and see what it's all about. All right, Shep, what do you have first in the paid lightning round?
First up in the Fade universe this week, Thomas Hassell spotted something fun in Google Ads. There are new promo code options. You can add a promo code with a barcode or a QR code, in addition to the normal alphanumeric promo code or the on orders over promo code. So if you're using promo extensions, more options for you now. But you hate QR codes, right?
No, I like QR codes.
I thought you hated them.
I hated them because people used them the wrong way. I think that like these examples are good. It was more so when there were just QR codes for no reason on things. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But to like on YouTube, it's nice when you can just hook your TV up by scanning a device. That's huge. And in this case, if you're on a desktop, I guess, I don't know why you always wouldn't copy the code. Obviously, there's like no mobile use for it because like how are you going to take a picture of the code?
Unless you're like in person? No, but why would you be?
The barcode makes sense. Let's say you're at you're browsing around looking for reviews or something. You see there's a sale and you could pull up a barcode that could be scanned. You know, maybe you can do a QR code like that too. Bring it up to the register.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Like
That's probably what it is.
Next up, Higman spotted something kind of sus, in my opinion.
Higman.
Google has added a new checkbox for you to comply with when you upload images to Google Ads. He says this is Google having you sign a waiver that you, quote, own all legal rights to the images on the landing page. But this is the terminology. They say, I confirm that I own all legal rights to the images on the landing page used by this account, or I have permission to share the images with Google. I hereby instruct Google to publish these images on my behalf for advertising or other commercial purposes.
What?
So Higman was a little suspicious that maybe they can just like use your images for whatever their heart's content.
Is that just like to pull it in to automatically create assets for you?
I don't know. Like what other commercial purposes?
Their own?
I hope they're not taking your images and using them whenever, but I think we all have to check the box. So
yeah, I would just check with whatever licenses you have. There are some licensing that changes from you can use it in an ad or you can use it in content. I would just make sure that you have all the rights to this, but I don't hate the idea of it. Like this could be for people that aren't savvy or don't have a design team, small businesses. Maybe it could help them make better ads. And at least it's something on their site. It's not like AI generated stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of AI generated stuff, have you watched Don't Die on Netflix?
No. Should I?
I've always not liked that Brian Johnson guy, but he's like dead set on reversing his aging. And he talks about like all these weird stats. Like he's got like the butthole of an 18-year-old or something.
How would he know?
And why?
I don't like him.
I don't know. There's a documentary on Netflix, and now I kind of like want to go into his protocols. He takes like 300 pills a day. He gets like other people's fat jammed into his face.
Ew. What does he do to make his butt better? How's he doing that?
I don't know.
The other people's fat in his face is like a cosmetic thing, right?
I'm looking at it now. I guess it's the, according to the Daily Mail here, he has the sperm of an 18-year-old.
I don't trust him.
I just love goofballs. You know, like I'm a sucker for a goofball. He's also got a son who's on the show, and his name sounds like something like kids would say. It's like Sigma or something. I forgot what his name is. So like,
well, I will not be watching. So thanks for sharing.
I highly recommend it.
What does that have to do with AI? Isn't that you were going?
He looks like AI. He looks like he's.
He does.
Okay.
He does.
Thank
you for circling back because I totally forgot about it.
Talmadge. His son's name is Talmadge.
Talmadge?
It's not
That's like a last name from the 1700s.
Like my daughter would be like, "That's so Talmadge, Dad."
Wasn't that a character on that show on AMC? Turn. It's like Caleb Talmadge.
How do you spell it?
Tal Mage. Talmadge. It's fascinating.
That sounds like it was made up by AI.
We would call him T for short, I think.
Fascinating. Though.
Okay.
We all gotta get into his protocol.
Thanks for keeping me updated on what's going on in the world.
You're welcome.
Speaking of what's going on in the world, Adrian Decker let us know. He said he saw a post from Quish. Guys, you
Quish. That's another name. Talmadge and Quish.
Chris Shep.
It's part of my name. You think
Quish
Literally.
AKA
Christopher Marie Schwartz, and Arpan Banerjee. And they're talking about a Google ad strategy called PMax conquest. And Adrian says that they're saying a Google Ads rep suggested you could retarget to a competitor's checkout page using a custom interest audience with checkout URLs. And he said, this might sound compelling. It's not accurate. The strategy targets similar audiences, not true remarketing audiences. Biggest story to me here. Once again, we can't trust these reps.
Well, I also think it's very telling that a rep is out there trying to tell one of their clients how to steal from another client.
Great point.
It's just like, this did not exist in 2007, 8. You couldn't do anything competitively, but we saw with that SparkToro study, 44% of searches now are branded searches. And now guess what? Because there are more of those and there's more money to be had, now all of a sudden we're out there telling people how to go get and spend more. So then all the prices go up.
And also fundamentally not knowing how our product works, but okay.
It's not necessarily inaccurate, but it's not accurate. You could technically show for that, but to the point, it's similar audiences. It's not going to dial in on it.
Something that is real news. Melissa L. Mackey at Beyond the Paid.
Always real news.
She says, as far as I can tell, the limited by search volume notice in Google Ads is a thinly veiled ploy to boost broad match adoption. This campaign has a $1,000 daily budget and less than 10% impression share. There is no way it should be limited by anything. I can see unsuspecting advertisers getting goaded into willy-nilly broad match when they see this message. I've noticed lately everything is limited by budget or limited by bid set. Every campaign.
Yeah, by search
By
volume?
something, yeah. They just want you to click and do whatever they want. Next up, Microsoft Advertising is introducing Curate for Commerce and sponsored promotion by brands to enhance retail experience or retail media. This is from Adrian Decker. He says that Curate for Commerce helps retailers monetize first-party data with minimal tech investment, and it's piloted by Kohl's, one of my favorites.
Oh my God.
SPB allows brands to target shoppers across platforms like Bing and retail sites using a cost per sale model launching later this year. So,
Do they have Kohl's Cash online?
yeah,
Do the prices change like digitally?
no.
No?
I mean, there's like a sale price in red, but it looks like any other website.
Okay.
Yeah, I get to use my mom's Kohl's Cash all the time.
It's pronounced Cole's Crash.
Meta has restarted tests for image animation. Adrian Decker is letting us know that instead of retesting the same feature that they were testing before, he thinks that Meta is likely exploring a new or improved version of image animation, potentially offering better results or greater compatibility with various creative designs. So I feel like it didn't go well last time. Here's hoping it's better this time.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm a fairly smart person, but I went into Kohl's once and never went back in.
I do get really stressed out.
It's a game.
Yeah.
It's like you need some sort of solution book.
I can't express enough. Like, it makes me sweat. And I only go there because my mom usually saves her Kohl's Cash for me.
Why would anybody shop at that store? Can somebody pop off in the comments and tell me why they shop at Kohl's?
For me, it was a week before Christmas this year, and I hadn't gotten my husband anything, and I went and got him a walk.
Oh, you didn't get him pocket socks?
No, that was just for you.
Oh, thanks.
I don't know how I ended up at Kohl's. I just did. You know, sometimes you're in the mood
Never.
to not know how much you're paying until you're at the register.
I'm never in the mood for that shop.
No.
David Kyle, I think David Kyle originally posted this, and then Mike Ryan shared it. David shared it on X, and then Mike Ryan reposted on LinkedIn where I saw it. But he asked, how do you feel about migrating regular keyword search campaigns to PMAX campaigns, ranging from absolutely not to let's do this?
That's incorrect.
Yes, let's do this. What?
No, they like purposely misspelled the worst one. Absolute not.
Absolute not.
Oh,
I feel like they're trying to make this skew one way.
because people aren't going to click on it because they think it's spelled wrong.
I don't know. One of them is like, it's like, yes, let's do it! Exclamation. Like, just say, why are we?
I also feel like yes, let's do it should be on the left, and absolute not should be on the right.
I know. It's a bad sign because search campaigns are search campaigns. PMAX is PMAX. Yes, you can get extra value, but they're different things, and you should have a plan in place. But B, I don't know.
So is this a survey from Google?
Alleged survey from Google. cannot confirm.
Well, people had some funny responses. Nava Hopkins says that Google doesn't want you to do it either. If the DOJ pushes and we lose search terms, we might not have a choice. I think Google does want us to do it.
Google does want us. I don't know if you looked at the recommendations in an account, but there's a lot of PMAX in there. I don't know if you talked to a rep.
Yeah.
We have reps that are like, why don't you just, we have 167,000 products. I'm like, why don't you just have one PMAX campaign for this? Literal, you were on the call.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Had they looked in the account?
Specialists. Senior
Supposedly.
specialists. They said, why don't you just have one PMAX account? 670,000 products.
Because I value my livelihood.
Because I want to not have to fire all of you.
Thanks for looking at this.
Giacomo Lottie said, very good about it, smiley face. Chris Chambers said, definitely a not until we have to type of thing. Bob Maher said, 2027 would be my guess. My favorite was Katerina Mariani. She just sent this man that you have to see to believe. Me every day. But I don't think she feels good about it. Next up, Miles McNair said Google just rolled out campaign level negative keywords for PMAX, and it's total BS.
And this was according to somebody else. This was according to Emmanuel Flossie on LinkedIn. So there's conflicting information, so we'll just cover it all.
Supposedly, it's like a slow rollout. We were supposed to have them in Q4, just so everyone, in case anyone forgot.
Right, but Emmanuel is saying there's only 100.
First of all, okay, 2 reasons he's giving. You can't add it to you can't add negative keyword lists.
Which is so stupid.
Yeah. And you can only have up to 100 negatives in the campaign.
What is the point of a negative keyword list if you can't apply it to all of your campaigns? Now, all of a sudden, you devalue the entirety of that keyword list, and then you have to think differently based on campaign type. It's so counterintuitive.
Yeah. I really hope this isn't true. I would be very upset. But then other people are saying that you get 1,000. So we'll just have to wait and see. I feel like they're never happening at all.
No negative keyword lists,
Mhm.
if you only get 1,000.
If they didn't do negative keyword lists, like there's no reason to defend that besides that you just hate advertisers. Like, what is the point?
That you hate advertising.
And you want to make more money. Like, ugh. Next up, Google is testing a new business highlights feature on mobile LSAs. Anthony Higman says, think callouts plus site links that click out to the full profile. And then he says, oh, I'm sorry, this isn't from Anthony. This is from the AdSquire LinkedIn page. Excuse me.
Whoa.
The little cartoon guy?
Yeah, they say our take, Google is doing everything they can to blur the lines between search and ads and LSAs to keep them at the top and increase cost per lead. It's Morgan and Morgan again. So it must be an AdSquire client, I'm guessing.
I don't think so.
Working overtime. We always see Morgan and Morgan. They're the ones with the competitors and the result.
Advertiser in the
they
country.
are?
Yeah.
Are they personal injury?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
They've
I
been in
never see
business
them.
for 36 plus years. Yeah. You didn't know that?
Not looking at enough billboards. Next up, Google is getting rid of crediting back leads, message leads, booking, and call recordings for the tax specialist vertical in LSAs, and it started 2 days ago, even though we just got the email. LOL. Signed, Anthony Higman. I love how it's taxes in January. Are you kidding me? Those diabolical creeps.
That's a good point. They don't need this right now.
Ugh.
Also, if your AI is that good to find fraudulent stuff, which is what we heard a few months ago, why you couldn't do manual credits back. If it's so good, why would you get rid of crediting bad leads?
It makes absolutely no sense.
It goes contrary to what they just told everybody.
Anthony's the only person screaming about how bad it is in LSA land. Like, I cannot believe he's still over there. It's terrible.
I just think what his days must be like. we
Very
only see a
And he's
little-
doing it all in a suit, I think. Next up, we have a few stories here from Brom Vanderhalen. First, he's got a video tutorial. First one I've seen from him, doing a great job. And in the tutorial, he's showing us how to monitor the impact of viewable Facebook and Instagram ads on Google search. Like, what a guy! And then he also has a guide written up about how to track email traffic in Meta ads. And he's giving us information on the new Meta ads restrictions for specific business categories. So he says Meta may assign a data source category for your data source. Among the categories that may have certain data sharing restrictions are health and wellness, politics, and financial service. And then he's telling us everything we need to know about that and how it could impact your account. So I don't know if I need to say it again. If you're not following Brahm and you're in social, you're just doing yourself a disservice.
I think you need to say it again.
Well, you're doing yourself a disservice. What's happening in organic?
All right. First up from Barry Schwartz over at Search Engine Roundtable. Apparently, according to Lily Ray,
Apparently.
I didn't mean apparently, but there's a big picture of a bird over on Search Engine Roundtable. But apparently, if you have been hit by a site reputation abuse policy and have a manual action against you, you can still show up in AI overviews. Although you won't show up in Google traditional search, there's an example of an alleged Forbes article that was hit by manual action and still is showing up in AI overviews. So
Perfect.
pretty strange. And then if you recall a few weeks back, if you are going to be running any ad campaigns, you need to make sure that you are checking in with your search team, your organic search team, and making sure, because you cannot run ads to something that has a manual action anymore, which again makes zero sense to me. So my favorite part of the story, and I talked about it over on It's New, is Barry's got this AI generated image of a bird. And the bird, in my opinion, my professional opinion, I've seen a lot of birds in my life. This bird is giving the audience a double bird.
Yeah, I noticed that right away as well.
So I don't know if he's subtly trying to hide something in there, but
What did I do to this bird?
well, I think we're supposed to be the projection of Google to all those people that were not hit by manual actions and see their competitors with manual actions ranking above them in AI overviews. Or he just said, make a bird.
Yeah, I feel like that would be more of a take than Barry usually gives.
Yeah, no, I just made that all up.
Make a bird.
Okay, there was an interesting thread from Josh Tyler over on X, and Josh Tyler was one of those folks that made it out to the Web Creator Summit and runs giantfreakingrobot.com. And he had something that if you're interested in SEO and interested in content creation specifically, he has a thread about content farms and how they work. He said, I had a meeting with the CEO of one of the biggest and most well-known content farm media companies. He wanted me on his team, so he answered all my questions about how his company produces content. Now I'm going to tell you. And surprisingly, there's more software than AI that's used to figure out like what is hot topics, what are people searching for, and then they use these tools to come up with basically bullet points as to what to talk about and kind of a framework. And then it gets sent over to writers and they write it up. Then it goes over to somebody else for editorial finesse, let's say, and then it goes live. But I've talked to people as well, really big in the financial industry, that do the exact same thing. So if you're wondering like how these content farms do so well, they build tools, they have very, very, very good systems in place, and they execute very well. And it's all fine and dandy till it's not. And the financial company that I had some inner knowledge of was top of class until it wasn't. And it dropped for many things and many people had to be let go. All right. Also, Google has a new generative AI addition to the SERPs, and it's for people also search for. There is an example of a search for Mark Zuckerberg, and Google has the people also search for module within there, and you can see his wife, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, and more. There was also another example when somebody was doing a search for one T Swift Shep. I don't know if you ever heard of her.
I have.
And in that case, they showed her husband and her brother.
They're not married or engaged.
They're not engaged?
Well, we think that she blurred her ring on some photos for her birthday party, but it's unconfirmed. And I don't know anything until Taylor wants me to know.
I mean, even I thought they were engaged, and I know nothing.
But she's renovating, making her master bedroom bigger in her Rhode Island house. So
make room for a husband.
Yeah.
Because once they get married, they can live together.
Yeah.
All right. And from one Anthony Hickman, he found a new, or I would say newish, I can't tell for sure until Barry's back, but a new feature in the SERPs for podcasts. So good on us all. And in this, he was searching for divorce lawyer. And the example was, shockingly, podcasts, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. So being able to use your content that you're making and to be able to increase your visibility in the SERPs using that podcast seems pretty phenomenal. And it also looked like it was kind of the name of the podcast that might have spurred some of that. So there's just a lot of divorce talk out there.
Seems like it's all from the ladies' point of view.
Couldn't pay me to listen to that. Name a price to listen to.
Maybe they're giving you financial
Divorce and
tips or
Beyond.
something.
Yeah.
Susan Guthrie might be lovely.
I'm sure she is.
I couldn't think of something that is more nails on the chalkboard on a lesser way I would like to spend this limited time I have in my life than Divorce and Beyond.
That's the podcast name for anyone not looking at
It
the
sounds so
screenshot.
uplifting.
She's wearing pink. She's got a head tilt. She knows what she's doing.
All right. Can we do a podcast review?
Let's do a podcast review.
Okay. We'll listen to it and we'll do a little review next.
Divorce and Beyond?
Yeah.
I have to listen to it now.
It's
Yeah.
going to be in your
Yeah, yeah.
history. Be careful. Maybe we shouldn't do that.
Frank Sandman had noticed over on Mastodon. I do not know how to confirm his findings because I don't know how to get to Mastodon, but that Google still has some continuous scrolling left. And if you remember, that went away in June of 2024 and went back into the paginated version of Google. Well, if you're looking in the video tab, Frank found that it is still a continuous scroll there. All right. And from Lily Ray, and this is very specific to site reputation abuse policy items. She says, pro tip, if you want to investigate whether an author or contributor or freelancer has published on various publications and where they have published, you can use the Content Explorer in BuzzSumo and filter by author. I know this has become important for many companies in light of site reputation abuse. If you recall, I have done no less than 2 hours of my life talking about how stupid the site reputation abuse policy is. It started with an idea of saying you're talking about content that's not germane to your website. It has morphed into something where you need to have people that are employed by you and not freelancers. It makes no sense. The policies have changed and it is not about abuse anymore. It is about if you've hired people into your own company to make things happen. All right. And just from the censorship side of things, we talked about it with some big changes over at Meta with some of the censorship being lifted. There's also an interview over on Joe Rogan talking about very specific content that was asked to be taken down by the governing body of the US. And furthermore, according to Dr. Drew at Dr. Drew on X, who is technically still somehow a board certified physician, I see some stuff he schleps out there, and I'm like, I don't know how you still have this. But he is technically a board-certified physician and has been so for 40 years.
40 years, really?
40 years.
How old is this man?
Takes a lot to get disbarred, I feel like.
I mean, it must.
Or
It must.
What do they call it for doctors?
He's not a
Disboarded.
lawyer anymore. Dr. Drew,
But
he's 66. Wow.
he had YouTube take down 2 videos that he had put out with another medical doctor and a lawyer. And they said that the information was harmful. And Dr. Drew had an interesting point. I'm not giving any sides. I'm just talking about censorship and why people may shift to Meta if that lifts from a marketing perspective only. But Dr. Drew said that the team that determines what could be harmful or medically inappropriate doesn't feature a doctor at YouTube. Whether that's true or not, I cannot confirm or deny. If that is true, though, that would be very interesting to say, I've just got somebody who can take things down because they think it's wrong and they're not a doctor. So all in all, you might see some people moving more to Meta. I don't know, probably very small, but I think I don't have a politics slant, but I'd say I'm very liberal towards free speech. I think it's something that's helpful, especially in the scientific realm. That's what science is supposed to be all about. So anybody who's conservative on free speech, flame me in the comments. And that's it in organic. What's happening in social, bud?
All right, you want some good news?
Yeah,
Okay.
we need it.
Okay. It's uplifting, but it comes from bad. So first of all, thoughts and prayers to everyone in Los Angeles. We are thinking about you. I know a big chunk of the community is out there. So on the heels of that, the good news is Snapchat has committed $5 million in immediate aid to victims of the Los Angeles fires and has promised to do even more in the recovery process. I guess they're feeding evacuees and first responders. They're offering free space, and they're listening in and learning every day about new ways that they can help, basically. So they say they want to collaborate and build together, or rebuild together. So I know that we poop on tech giants a lot, and rightfully so when they're being dumb, but there's still some good in this world, and I love to see it. And Shep, I know you love to see Mr. Adam
This
Mosseri.
screenshot.
I
Why
made it
is
just
he so
for you.
intense?
I can't with him.
I'm not sure. He looks like he's sitting on a toilet without being on a toilet.
Yeah.
That's the stance that's happening here. He's really, he's leaning into 2025, if you will.
He's also trying to make the guns look a
Yeah, he's
little more
always
high
leaning
caliber.
in.
Yeah, I
than they
think
are.
there's definitely some intentionality there. Yeah. The thing about him is when he talks, he like moves just enough so that his chain does like a thing.
Yeah.
I feel like he knows what he's doing.
I don't know what he always looks like. He's just a turtle popping out of a shell with glasses on.
Yeah. And he
He's
looks
got a
like he
turtle
rolled out
face.
of bed, but he was wearing pants in bed, like slacks.
He seems like the last person I would trust Brian Johnson over this guy.
Over this
He
man?
just looks so trustworthy.
He looks uncomfortable.
What?
Sorry for speaking
I
negative
don't.
of
He
your
doesn't
man.
look untrustworthy.
I also just DM'd him and said that he downloaded the divorce podcast.
This is just very intense. I don't understand why he's always staring at me.
I
It's
think
not
that's
me.
so
It's Adam hitting on me. Like,
You're right. He really is like if this was a bar situation, you would be stepping backwards. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you'd be clamping your hand on your drink, clamping it
Yeah.
down.
No. Do we want to know what he has to say about 2025 for Instagram?
Sure.
They're focused on creativity, surprise, surprise, and connecting you with people that you care about. Surprise, surprise. Seismic shift over there. But what it means, according to what he's saying, they want to make sure their creative tools are the quote best in class across the board, which they are not right now.
Oh.
He is acknowledging, which I thought was interesting. So more to come there, I suppose. They're going to lean into AI. And they want to focus on originality when it comes to how content is ranked. So doing your own thing is good. It also sounds like there will be some changes coming to the messaging experience. So maybe you can get in touch with him a little bit quicker, as well as how content is recommended to you. So he didn't really give specifics on any of that, but he did allude to these changes coming. So I'm sure we'll have more details as things roll out.
Can we have Anthony on for the review next week of the divorce
Divorce
files?
podcast?
Yeah, what's the name of it again? I already saw you downloading it.
Divorce
and beyond.
I feel like
Divorce and beyond.
I feel like we need him on next week.
You know what else we have to do? We have to get through the social lightning round. And there is one more news story. Not even news. A new report from SoPro has good news for social media teams in the B2B space. According to it, the report, 28% of buyers surveyed prefer to hear, B2B buyers surveyed prefer to hear from sellers via social media. Now, I will say the respondents must have been able to choose more than one way they like to be reached out to because these numbers add up to way more than 100%. But still good to know. Consider social as part of your B2B strategy if you think it makes sense. Maybe give it a test.
And that brings us to our real life segment, straight out of our accounts and into your ear holes. It's time for Working Hard or Hardly Working, where we talk about what's going on in our IRL work, good, bad, or otherwise.
Hardly working for me this week. I think I told everyone when I first started testing that search bidding exploration beta, which like lets them lower your target CPA by 10% essentially for a broad match. I said it was going okay. Like next week, it was like 1,000% increase in conversion value, something crazy. Now it's doing terrible. It's a B2B account and it like hasn't recovered since the holidays, these campaigns. So I don't really believe in it anymore.
I love Loom. Loom is fantastic. I tried to record one yesterday where I wanted to present a slide deck from Google Slides with my face over it. Friends don't let friends waste time trying to troubleshoot something if you've already figured it out. So just so you know, if you are in presentation mode and it is taking up your full screen, your little Loom face will not go over it. There is no way to make it work. It looks like there's not a setting for you because they changed it. It's not the same as the help articles anymore. It's just full screen or camera only. When you read help, it's like full screen plus camera. And I thought the option just wasn't there for me. No, I was doing everything right, except I was in full screen mode on Google Slides. And so I couldn't put my Loom face over my presentation. So FYI. I'm sorry. It's fine. I figured it out. Different way.
All right. And something working hard for me. We just recently did a sales pitch sort of our capabilities and case studies and things like that. Typically, I sort of lead the way on this. Jess had taken it over and really segmented things up more for the team. I thought it went really, really well. A lot of times I kind of get in the way, I think, of things because I just know that the majority of people at our company really appreciate and like the work side of things. So I try to shield people on the sales side of things. And I think it's a better look when more people that are doing things at our company are chiming in. Shep, you did a fantastic job. Jess, so did you. And K-Berg on our team. And I think sometimes people are up for that and don't need to be shielded. And I think overall it was a much better job having that delegation out to people and not just hearing my raspy, nasally drone go on and on.
Now it's time for this week's ICYMI.
ICYMI, people.
This is something you just might not have seen. Maybe something that you overlooked, but you shouldn't have.
ICYMI, people, from PPC Greg at PPC Greg on X. He says, I bet every single one of my Greg of the Year awards that the adoption percentage of these recommendations via Ads Editor is less than 5%. And he's sharing a post that he posted a while ago, 2022, this has been going on, of recommendations in Ads Editor, and they're all bolded, which is like they bold text in Ads Editor when you have unposted changes. So it seems like purposely misleading to me. Like they're trying to get you to click into those recommendations, right?
Also, I want all those Greg of the Years he's put up there. And this year, I say it every year, this year I am keeping stats. I'm coming with hard data.
Okay.
Let's see what he comes with.
Okay.
Oh.
He doesn't usually show up at all. So
Yeah. You're so
That
mean
would
to
be
me.
fun. We should get him. We should fly him in.
So mean.
Now it's time for our must-read marketing article of the week. An article so advanced, so in-depth, so detailed that we simply cannot cover it in its entirety on today's show.
In this week's must-read marketing article of the week comes from Frederick Valleys over on Search Engine Land, and he has Google Ad Scripts, everything you need to know. He talks about what Google Ad Scripts are, some of the advantages, challenges, how you can use scripts versus rules, and then a bunch of practical use cases for Google Ads scripts. And I know Fred is big on using GPT and AI to help create some scripts and make sure they're operating the right way. And this is just a fantastic article. If you are new to scripts, Fred has all the information you need to know, all the best practices. Just a phenomenal article from Fred. So thank you, and check that out over on searchengineland.com.
And now on to our playlist of curated songs to work to. You can head over to playlist.marketingoclock.com to listen to Marketing a Playlist. I will be adding Slim Pickens by Sabrina Carpenter. Greg, what will you be adding?
I will be adding by Josiah in the Bonnevilles. I'll be adding Good Luck Babe.
That's by Chapel Roan.
Is it? I don't even know
Maybe
what
it's
it
a
is.
cover.
Maybe it's a cover, but it's probably better.
That's a really hot take. You're going to have some people coming
I'll listen
for
to
you.
both.
Okay.
And The Divorce.
Jess.
Your ears are going to be so happy.
No.
Speaking of happy ears, I am going with Who Do You Think You Are by the Spice Girls.
Oh, all right. That does it for today's show.
That is now officially not Marketing Clock and also not 1995.
Thanks for listening.
We miss you
And we
already.
can't wait to see you next week.
Thanks for listening to Marketing O'Clock. If you're looking for more information on today's topics, head over to marketingoclock.com/newsletter to receive every single article we covered. We share the news as it breaks in our Discord community. Head over to community.marketingoclock.com to join.